What's doing, bud? Hi. What you doing? Can I visit with you think, honey? Yeah, you want to see that? You can see it. You can see it. What are you doing? Huh? You didn't want me to go say hi to her? How do you know it was about you at all, huh? How do you know it's about you at all? You're okay, sweetheart. Oh, you're blind. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. You're okay, you're okay, you're okay. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay. Listen, listen. You're okay. Listen. You're okay. You're okay. You don't need to be worried. You don't need to be worried. Come here. Come with me. It's cool. You're alright. Come on. You're alright. It's not so bad. Hi. It's okay. You are okay. You're okay. You look so sad. You're okay. I'm not going to do anything to make your life tough. I promise. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to help him with some of the tension that he has. I'm going to give him a way to relax because I asked him to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the flag up and down in the air and kind of also get an idea what he thinks about those kinds of things, probably by his immediate reaction. But what I'm going to look for him to do is to lower his head on that cue. Hi. Hi, you are okay. So my body isn't telling him to do anything. I'm not telling him to move. I'm not telling him to do anything. So he's going to look for answers, and that's okay. his moving around or his not doing anything would be his way of looking for an answer. But as soon as his nose dips down towards the ground, all my energy will stop, and he will learn that all he had to do was relax to that. I'm not looking straight at him, so I'm not giving him the impression that he needs to do anything. You're okay. Oh, you're okay. Yeah, you're okay. You're okay. Promise. You don't have to move. All I want you to do is lower your head. All I want you to do is lower your head. Come here, you're okay. Oh my gosh. You're okay. So I'm just staring at his chest to try to take some of the pressure off of him. You're okay. So I need to just turn it down a tiny bit. Yeah. So as soon as he dips his nose towards the ground, I'm trying not to give him the impression he needs to move his feet. So all he has to do is make the connection. What made that stop? There's going to be a point where I'm going to use the flag as direction, but this particular body language that I'm sharing with him right now is to say, don't move your feet, just lower your head. Good boy. So now I'm just going to tell him, but when you raise your head again, it's going to come alive again, like it's a switch. So how do you get that to turn back off? When he lowers his head again, then it'll stop again. Him moving is just him trying to find another answer. So just gonna tell him it's not about moving, but that other thing you figured out works. See if I can get him to lower it a little bit more. Not about moving. Just want him to put his nose down to the ground. So with horses, how they learn is when you stop doing something. So the release is what teaches. So if I was putting physical pressure on him, it's when my hands came off of him that I would teach him whatever it was he did. We often teach them things we don't mean to teach them by releasing when they're being bad, releasing when they're being hard to handle. So when we release on something that's undesirable, we also teach that. I take them for walks so they can kind of wash things off. Let them digest a little bit of what we just did, blow out, lower their head on their own, uh, yawn, lick their lips. So he's a little reluctant to even believe that's what I'm trying to do here. It's kind of letting me sort of kind of drag him around a little bit. But when I turn and face him, he might pick his head way up. Be like, uh-oh, what's she going to do now? See if I can get him again. Like, how did that stop? So I'm in a different position, but my body language hasn't changed. So now that he's on the right track, I'm going to say, yep, you're right. Now put it back down all the way. Think about that again. So I reward the thought as well, because sometimes it's a thought that you're only going to get. So this is me being a little critical to say, yeah, but it's not about touching down and then coming back up. It's about going down there and staying and relaxing a little bit. So this is a way you can take a horse like this, especially off of adrenaline that he's hiding. He's on a lot of adrenaline. He's actually quite anxious horse. Even though he seems like a mellow guy, he's got a lot of worry. If I can help him find a way to relax out of that worry, then he'll be a lot easier to work with for me, because then he'll learn to trust that I'm here to help him. And I'm not here to just make things happen and him to walk away still going, what did I do? I made him stop, but what did I do? I'd rather him have complete understanding by the end that he knows what he did. What he was rewarded. That crackle pop behind us, huh? So my position being a little bit different changed it for him. There's a middle thought there. I'm just going to step a tiny bit closer to him, only to get a better. Good. So another thing I'm going to teach him today, these are two things that are just going to help him with relaxation, because he needs to relax. He's an uptight guy. So when horses are scared or worried about things, they are not capable of refocusing if you don't give them something to think about. So like say the fire is worrying him. If he were to just run circles around me, that's what he's designed to do. He's designed to not have to think about a thing when running straight. And if they run straight on a circle, like it's kind of ill advice that some people thought was the right thing to say is like, oh, just circle them around you when they're worried. It's ineffective. If anything, it's like winding them tighter, because they don't have to think when they're going on a straight line, and all a straight line is on a circle, so it's still a straight line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make him think about his feet. And by making him think about his feet, I'm going to make him cross over his feet. And they can't entertain two thoughts at one time. So if he's worried about something, but then I have him thinking about his feet, he's either going to fall down because he'd rather stay worried, or he's going to start focusing on his feet, which then can get him off the thing that's scaring him. So I'm going to help him learn how not to have to worry about things around him and to stay focused on me and trust my aids. So I'm going to ask him to go, and I'm going to ask him to come right back. I'm going to ask him to go. I'm going to use as actual energy. So my body's alive right now. So he's asking, what should I do? And I'm going to say, you need to go that way. And then I'm going to say, but you need to turn your hip now. Good. I'm going to say, I need you to go that way. And I'm going to say, I need you to turn your hip now. I need you to go that way. I'm going to say, turn your hip. Turn your hip. Good. I'm going to let him know that he did a great job. I'm also going to see if I can't tell him that this isn't going to hurt him. He's pretty sure this is a scary thing. It's not going to hurt you, handsome. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to Okay. Move your shoulder. Move your hip. Move your shoulder. Move your hip. Move your shoulder. So I'm not saying that for his benefit. I'm just saying it for your benefit. Move your hip. Move your hip. Move your hip. Move your shoulder. Move your hip. Good job. Good. I know. It's interesting stuff, huh? You're a good guy. So I'm going to ask him to back up. A little too much in my space. Shoulder. Shoulder. Hip. Hip. More hip. More hip. More hip. Don't go forward. More hip. Don't go forward. More hip. Good. A little more hip. More hip. Good. Good. Yeah. You're okay. You're okay. Can you back out of my face a little bit? Great. Shoulder. Yep. And hip. And hip. Good. Shoulder. And hip. And hip. Good. A little bit more hip. A little bit more hip. A little bit more hip. You can't just come back. Good. What does that one mean? 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 You just learned what that one meant. Do anything else. Look, my body's not telling you to do anything else. Put your head down. That's all we're telling you to do right now, right? Good. You got it. That was the right thought. That's the right thought. There you go. There you go. Good job. That was right. You want to do that again? You got it right that time. I think I'm going to go back to using plastic bags on the end of these things. I slipped dirt in my hair the whole time I will do this kind of exercise. Plastic bags I've never used before. Good job. Okay. I know, crazy, right? All right, so you're not too sure about me yet, are you? I'm good, people. I swear. I swear I'm good. You're so tense. Oh my gosh. So tense. Oh, hi. Oh, honey. Hi. Hi. Good job. Okay. So one thing that I want you to always know about horses is that backing up is a draw. Anytime you back up away from your horse, it causes your horse to draw to you. So sometimes when you want your horse to stand still and then you go backing away from them, you don't realize that you drew them with you. So we often make them wrong for something that's very natural to them. Okay. So what I'm going to also do is I'm going to ask him to bring me his head to his elbow without panicking, without wanting to run off. This is something that, good, will help him also, if you're on his back, will help you ask him to stop. I don't need him to move his feet. I'm looking for him to soften here in his head, bring his head around to his elbow, and then soften. So he's resisting and trying to just find another answer. He's not being bad. He's just trying to find another answer. So I didn't release because even though he stopped moving his feet, he didn't soften in his head yet. So this will help you. If you ever needed him to know that he's going someplace you don't want him to go, and you need him to stop, this will help him stop. Anytime I cross in front of a horse, because I expect my horses to always walk with me. So if I was to walk off, I'd want him to come with me. I wouldn't want to make him wrong for doing that. If I'm going to cross in front of him, I always tell him I'm going to cross in front of him. I don't leave any part of the conversation out. I don't ever let them just guess I was supposed to not move. So I'll put my hand on their nose, just across the nose band of the halter or the bridle, whatever he's got on, to let them know, I'm going to move, but you don't need to. So that's just a polite way to say, I'm not going to make you wrong for following me, because following me is what I would want you to do if I was just walking off. I'm going to go ahead again and ask him. Now, I don't remember if I told you, but different eye, different horse. Now, this is a sensitive horse, big time on this side of his body. He has a real hard time with this side of his body. So he does, you'd think it would transfer. Well, we just did that on the other side. Why doesn't he understand? He doesn't understand because he's seeing me out of this eye now. Very worried. Very worried. You're okay. You're okay. I want him to give a little bit there. Good. He hides it well, but he's a very, very worried horse. I didn't put my hand on his nose because I was already directly standing in front of him. So again, I don't want him to move. I don't want him to move. I just want him to soften. Good. I'm not looking for him to move. So now, when I have you guys doing these exercises, anything that I have you do, I want you to do successful in threes. So, like if I reach up right now, so I've gotten 2 successful ones. Well, actually, I didn't. I didn't get any because his feet moved at first. So, 3 successful ones would be his feet don't move. He just brings his head around. That's 1. That's 2. And that's 3. Now you can move on to the next exercise. Okay? But say he had moved at number 2 or even at number 3, you got to go back to 1. Have to do 3 successful ones. So if I were to, like, okay, he'll move on this one. So, like, if I were to try to get, say he moves on the second one, good boy. Or this third one, so now I'm back at 1 because he's moving. So now he kind of broke the goodness of the pattern. Good. I like to let them get their nose kind of straightened out before I ask for that next one again, just to make sure that there is true understanding and he's not just going back in that position. Good. Good. Good boy. Nice. So one of the things that I probably said last time I look for is when I put my hand on a horse's head, they lower their head. And it's a strange, like, I can't explain it, but it's a strange, like, kinetic thing that happens. It's kind of like they they go, oh, thank God, you're approving of what I'm doing. So they look for that. So he'll begin to come to me and ask me to put my hand on his head, especially when something's really really stressful. So if he likes that, if it makes a connection for him yet, sort of does, but not completely. Okay, so I'm going to have you guys working with him in the backup. Now the backup, I'm giving him all my energy right now is saying, you better go back. I don't have to physically do anything to him unless he doesn't read my body language. Your body language for the backup is like a cat in the tall grass. And that's pretty much one of the few times you really ever want to look like that to your horse. So I'm going to tell him, don't come forward. I didn't ask you to come forward. Put that foot back. And then when you're asking them to yield their hind end. Those are kind of the two that you want to look like a cat in the grass. But you'll find when you really are aware of that, how often you do that and why your horse will scoot away from you. He'll like yield his ribs away from you because he's not sure why you're coming at him kind of sneaky. Because when you're sneaky, you're the cat in the grass. Anytime you try to sneak around your horse you think you're being just quiet, but you're a predator when you're being quiet. You're better off, especially this horse. Look at how worried he is just by an approach. You're better off teaching this horse that if I approach you, I'm not going to hurt you. Like, he's totally terrified I'm going to hurt him. So that's something we would have to work on. Getting him to where I can jump around him. I can come at him. One of the things I like to do is come at him like I'm, like I had too much to drink. Like, hey, horsey. Hey, here's a good horsey. Right? Because if they can't handle quick movements around them, they're also not safe to be on them. So now he's like, oh, you can come. You can come. So now my pressure, I'm not going to tug on him. I'm just putting a drag on the line. All I'm doing is keeping the tension, but I'm not pulling. I'm inviting him, and then I'm going to give when he gets the right answer. So you always want to just think, anytime you do anything with him and you're looking for him to respond appropriately to something that you think he understands, the way you're going to tell him is by releasing. If he pulls against it, well, then that's a tension that he created, not me. You're okay. I swear you're okay. I swear. So he's a horse that I would deliberately move real quick around, just because I want him to think, all right, she's just, fast mover. See how defensive he is here? He was ready to run if he had to. You're okay. So now, the other thing I'm going to teach him, which, you're okay, I didn't tell you to do that. So go back over where you were, please. Keep going. Go back where you were. Move your tail still. Come on, you're not where you started. Go back where you were. I touched you. Come on. There you go. That's it. You snort at me? So that's him asking, did I do good? Okay, so using his sensitivity, I want to be able to tell him to move by moving just the air around him. But I don't want him to do it because he's fearful. I want to do it because he understands what I'm asking him to do. So I'm going to ask him to move his front feet by pushing the air next to him. Now, we did this last time, and he seemed to kind of pick it up at the end, but he'd rather stand here and not be sure. So I'm going to have you guys do this stuff with him. So I don't get any louder. I don't hit him any harder. I don't turn it into a push. It's just I come in pushing the air, and then when there's no more air, I just touch him. So first I'm pushing the air, no more air, but now I just wait. The thing about training horses is there's a lot of just exercising some patience for them to figure out the right answer. But if we don't let them figure out the right answer, here, then they don't believe that our questions matter. But if we can tell him, my question here is, can you move your feet without me touching you? No? All right. Yep, you're right. Yep. So I'm going to wait on him because he asked, is this right? Is this right? So unfortunately, that's as far as he got with it. So I'm going to say, well, you were right. Don't wait for me to touch you. You can move without me touching you. So that was a little forward, more than it was a crossover. So I'm going to have to get where my position blocks him from going forward. So now I'm standing in front of him. He kind of has no choice but to go towards your fire there. And if they lower their head, you go with their head. If they raise their head, you go with their head. You follow evasion however you can so you can keep the message clear. So ideally, I'd like to be able to just go like this and him turn away. Like if I was to take him for a walk somewhere and I said, let's go this way, I should be able to just do that and him go, okay. Because there's nothing worse in my mind than grabbing a horse from underneath the chin and going, here, horse, go this way. Here, horse, come this way. Go this way. They don't like that. Sorry. When you can just have the conversation, here, let's move forward. You're okay. You just have the conversation. How about you turn? You're okay. How about you turn? We'll go that way. Let's go that way. Go that way. Yep. Good job. Good. Move. We back up together. That's right. You're doing good. I know. It's rough. Yeah, good boy. And the hind mule is you're gonna look at his tail like you see something in it. So the tip of the head is actually the cue. That's him asking, did I do it right? It's okay. You did it right. He asks a lot of questions, which is really nice. He really does care if he's good. He's just so kind of mixed up that he's not sure if he should ask or if his questions will be answered. So I'm going to look at his tail like I think something's in his tail. And this side too. We're going to look at his tail, see if there's something in his tail. And I describe it as like water in this ear, the outside ear. So that time he got a little worried. You got kind of a knee-jerk little trigger there, don't you? Yeah, you do. Does he give the farrier a hard time ever with the hind legs? Oh, good. Yeah, that's right. That's bug related. That's not me related. There. That's a good man. You're okay. You are okay. You're not sure? You're not sure if you're okay? You're okay. So do something that he learned already? Yeah. 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 So when you do it in threes, it stays. But if he never gets it in a three, it won't stay. I know, that was pretty weird, right? You're okay. You're okay. So this is the side that he's most defensive about. So what that teaches him is that he can lose me. Ooh. Wow, he's got a lot of communication stuff that. You're okay. You're okay. Poor guy. I want him to be able to lose me and then find me again. And know that he can find me again. So he's going to lose me out of that eye. He's going to find me in this eye. Hi. I want his shoulder to move. Nope, 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 nope. That's not what I said. That's not what I said. Shoulder. Okay, good job. Good. Ooh. Okay, so do one of you want to do a couple of the little exercises that you guys can do through the week? I didn't bring my phone. I don't even know what time it is. 1:57. Oh, okay. I usually have one that the alarm goes off 10 minutes because I have a bad habit of being like, la 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 la. Next thing you know, I'm like 3 hours in. Okay. You're okay. You're okay. So now what we're going to do, yeah, go ahead. You can say hi. Good boy. You're okay. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to ask him to move his feet because we asked him to, specifically. So you're going to come and stand on this side of him, and what you're going to do is you're going to imagine you have a yoga ball. You've ever seen a big yoga ball? And you're going to just bounce it, okay? So you're going to kind of have a rhythm. Once you get to him, you're going to kind of tap him. I usually use like a karate chop kind of motion. You're going to use a karate chop kind of motion here, and you're going to slap his shoulder here. So that way you can tell his nose to move, then his shoulder to follow, or hopefully both. But what you're looking for is for him to go like this. Or, I don't generally accept this because I want them to actually make a really conscious decision to cross their legs, because if they do this, same with the hind legs. So you ever sit when you were a teenager and you're sitting at a stop sign and you're trying to be all cool and you're revving it up in neutral and then you throw it and drive? Well, you stay in neutral, or the horse stays in neutral if his feet aren't crossed. This is park. So you always want to know that you can put your horse in park. Because if you only ever teach him he can stay in neutral, then he can always throw it and drive and take off with you. Okay. So you're going to rhythmically ask him. This is his real sensitive side. This is the side that he most protects. So what you're going to do is you're going to ask him. You're going to, once he gets his head turned, you're going to try to get yourself kind of positioned in front of him so that he doesn't go forward. So that's your support. Your body's going to support him from being able to go forward. And your idea is you're going to get him to step towards the building. Watch that leather piece. Yep. Yep. Yep, and you're just going to wait him out. Watch his eyes. So you're going to go kind of down towards the nose piece. There you go. Make sure your energy feels like, I'm coming through. Yep, there you go. Give him the impression that he needs to move out of your way, like you're the lead horse and you're saying, hey, you better get out of my way. I'm going over there to that patch of grass. And he needs to know to get out of your way. Yep, and if he backs up, you're going to just back up with him if he doesn't cross his legs. So that you cannot stop doing what you're doing right now until he crosses his legs. If he pushes back against you, that's when that hand can be a little bit, there you go, stop. Good. Don't pull him back. So if he goes to leave, that's okay, because that's what you wanted him to do. So don't automatically say, oh, but don't go. Because, right, you just said go, and then you said, but don't go. It's okay, sorry. You don't handle fast movements very well. Okay, so we're going to do 3 of those. Yep, give him the impression that you're the lead horse and you're heading for that patch of grass he's blocking. You need him to believe. You can go down more on the shoulder with the left hand. Down more like towards the meaty part. There you go. Yep. Yep, don't let that intention change. Your intention is, I'm coming through. I'm coming through. If his head goes up, it goes down. You're just going to go with his head. Try to stay where your karate chop is in the exact same spot on his face. Keep going, keep going. He hasn't done what we want yet. And stop. Good. Good. And don't pull him back. Good. So the release is what teaches. So as soon as he did that crossover step, that's when you stop. Because as soon as you stop, that's what teaches him you did the right thing. Okay, we'll do one more. So start further out. We're going to touch him first. We want to make sure that we're giving him actually the idea that he can leave on the pressure of the air. Yep. Then you're going to just start coming into that space saying, I'm coming through, you better move, I'm coming through. Give him the impression that he's just blocking your path. Keep going, he didn't cross, keep going. Yep, don't turn it into a push. It's just a steady, kind of annoying, like 2 kids in the back seat of a car. You're just annoying your brother or your sister. Here it's about to come. It's in his knee. Yep. Just, you can get like a bigger block when he comes back at you. That's the only time that it would get any stronger, is just because he put the pressure tighter. Yep, horses push or yield to pressure. And stop. Good. So all he's doing is he's just trying out the different answer. He's like, well, let's see, if I push on you, does that make you stop? So that's all he was doing. He was just trying to determine whether or not pushing was the right answer. Good. Okay, so the hindquarters is, you're going to only come to about here on him, and then you're going to tip your head, his ear, and you're trying to see if he's... Good boy, yes. That's right. You responded properly to me doing that. Good boy. Yeah, but you're not likely going to need anything as far as support. Now, the only thing that you ever want to do when you do this kind of exercise, especially a horse that has the kind of back of his mind idea that I might want to kick you, you just want to keep his nose tipped just like that. Because this way, if he were to think about kicking you, you can spin him away from you and he won't get you. You say to here. So look at his hip, not his face. Yep. Look at his hip, not his face. Tip your head a little bit like you got water in your ear. So look at his. You're gonna look at his tail. So you're literally gonna say, I need that piece of you to move. Yep. And then keep walking. So yep, there you go, and stop. Good. Take all your pressure off of him. Good. So the look you're gonna give him. I know it's tempting to keep looking to see if the horse is doing what you want. Like, are you looking